Good evening. I'm going to call to order, pardon me, this meeting of the Town of Wendell Town Board of Commissioners. We're happy to have all of you with us tonight. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Wendell Middle School student Charlotte Poseel. Wendell Middle School always comes big. I see a lot of Wendell Middle School support here tonight. That's so nice. So let me read you some things that was sent to me by her principal. William Faulkner reminds us that we should always dream big and shoot higher than you know you can do. Do not bother just to be better than your contemporaries or predecessors. Try to be better than yourself. We are excited to celebrate Charlotte Poseel because she not only lives this sense of growth and achievement in her own life, but she works to make sure that others have the support to do the same. While Charlotte is a sixth grade student who is quiet and reserved, she has made a huge impact on those around her because she is kind, thoughtful, and generous. Charlotte is a leader who quietly observes others, which allows her to see the qualities and potential in everyone around her. Charlotte has participated in our Unified Pack Club because she wants to make sure that every member of our pack has friends, feels valued, and knows their worth. Charlotte also stands out because of her courage and tenacity to set her own goals and to work hard to achieve those personal goals. Charlotte has set math goals, and she puts the work in during her class and after school to reach those goals, showing that she is not afraid to work hard for what she wants. Charlotte is a role model for others and a strong leader in our building. We are proud of Charlotte for her choices to challenge and compete against herself because she has learned that she is her only competition in life, but we're also proud of her for choosing to rally behind those who might need support and kindness. My goodness, I read that over the weekend and then again today when I was getting ready to come in here, and I'm so proud of you. What a lovely young lady you are. You're going to do great things. You already are, and you're going to do great things. I'm confident of that. I can't wait to see all of them. And Charlotte is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. Our invocation tonight, we're going to hear from the Wendell Council of Churches, Ed Keegan from St. Eugene's Catholic Church. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
How are you?
Commissioners, I'm honored to lead you in prayer. Let us pray. Lord, grant that we may always allow ourselves to be guided by you, always follow your plans, and perfectly accomplish your holy will. Grant that in all things, great and small, today and all the days of our lives, we may do whatever you require of us. Help us respond to the slightest promptings of your grace so that we may be your worthy instruments for your honor. May your will be done. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any adjustments of the agenda tonight? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Okay, we have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. I will move into our public comment period. The public may participate in public comment at our meetings by signing up at the door, at the podium at the door on the night of the meeting, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Or you can submit written statements via email to the town clerk as long as we receive them by 5 o'clock on the Friday prior to the Monday meeting. And those comments will be read into the record for a length of 3 minutes. Tonight, we have one person signed up. Therese, and I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your last name. Timborius.
I'm Teresa Timborius, and I
Let
was here.
us get your microphone down for you.
I got
where
a
you-
pretty loud voice.
We want to make sure people that are listening at home can hear you.
It's going to be short and sweet. I can be done by the time. All right, thanks. So I'm Teresa Timborius. I live at 1932 Wood Bluff Drive, and it's been at least a year or 2 years that I came to discuss the handicap parking And I just want to come back and say thank you so much, because you guys have done a great job. It makes a huge difference. And I've been saying I'm going to come, I'm going to come. I watch the meetings at home usually, but I especially want to make a comment because I went to the Meet on Main, and there was a young man. He had a Wendell shirt on. His name was Braxton. Young, I said, Braxton. And he
works
was
for the
very
town of
nice,
Wendell.
very nice and very helpful, and I just want to commend him.
Thank you for letting
You're
us know
welcome.
about that. Braxton's fantastic, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I wasn't talking about this, Braxton. You're all right, too. Just so you know, we've really made a tremendous effort to incorporate that in all of our events and all of our things. So I'm glad to know it was able to assist you. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. We'll move into section 4, our recognitions, reports, and presentations. And item 4A is the recognition of Wendell Middle School teacher Kayla Ramos. Ms. Ramos, can you come to the podium? This was submitted by the principal at your school. We are proud to recognize Ms. Kayla Ramos at the town of Wendell because she has become a member of our school community who has had an impact on students, families, and staff. Maya Angelou said, "The best part of life is not just surviving, but thriving with passion and compassion and humor and style and generosity and kindness." When we think of someone who is able to do all of these things simultaneously, it is Ms. Ramos. No matter what is thrown her way, she is smiling and bright, and she will find the positive in most any situation. Whether Ms. Ramos is dancing with an artist we have brought into the school, laughing with students, helping a family, or supporting our PTA, she does it with intention and drive. Ms. Ramos is committed to learning and growth, which she demonstrates in all of our professional learning. Ms. Ramos also takes her own steps to learn, which she is doing as she works to become a national board certified teacher. That's great. That's fantastic. Ms. Ramos is a fluent speaker of Spanish, and she shares her gift of language willingly at our school. Whether it is a school tour, an afternoon meeting, a PTA meeting, or a phone call, Ms. Ramos is happy to translate. She is generous with her time because she understands the value of ensuring our families have real people at our school who they can connect with rather than a cold translation line. Ms. Ramos willingly gives her time because she wants all families to be able to access our school and fully advocate for their children. We are excited to celebrate the passion, compassion, humor, style, generosity, and kindness that she brings to our school each day. Ms. Ramos is the epitome of a Wendell Wolf, and we are glad that she is part of our pack. Wow, my goodness, that's very nice, isn't it? It's high praise.
Thank you.
We wanted to have you here tonight to thank you, to recognize you for that, and to thank you for all that you do for our kids in Wendell. So we want to thank you.
Thank you. I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
appreciate your invitation tonight, and I would love to share some words as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It is truly an honor to receive this recognition from Mayor Virginia Gray, the Wendell Board of Commissioners, and from a town that has become my home. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, from the town of Camuy, a place deeply rooted in family, community, and strong connection between people. In many ways, Wendell reminds me of where I come from because it is also a town center around family, connections, and care for one another. I want to sincerely thank to the administration and staff of Wendell Middle School for their support, encouragement, and commitment to our students every single day. Arriving in a new educational system 5 years ago was both exciting and challenging. The administration of Wendell Middle School gave me a vote of confidence and welcomed me as a part of this great team. Their guidance, trust, and support helped me to grow professionally and continue striving for excellence for our students. Teaching is never the work of one person alone. It takes a community of people who believe in supporting and guiding the next generation. I am also deeply grateful to my family, my life partner, and my friends whose loves, patience, and support have carried me through long days and challenging seasons. As a teacher, one of the greatest privileges is watching students grow, not only academically, but as a human beings. Every child brings a story, a culture, a voice, and a future full of possibilities. To be part of that journey is something that I never take for granted. Receiving this recognition representing Wendell Middle School is truly meaningful to me because it is a school with high standards, where enrichment, commitment, and excellence are part of the culture we build every day for our students. As Paulo Freire once said, education does not change the world. Education changes people who are going to change the world. Thank you for allowing me to serve, to teach, and continue investing in the life of our students.
I can certainly. Thank you for your comments. I can certainly feel your heart and everything that you said. We're so lucky to have you here with our kids in Wendell. And I'm so glad that you feel like Wendell has become your home.
It
makes me
is,
very
it
happy.
is.
Well, I'm
We are
glad to
seeing-
know that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, item 4B is a proclamation recognizing May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week.
I'm very privileged to have the Assistant Director, Ernesto Gonzalez Santiago, with me tonight.
See. So Public Works Week is held annually during the third full week of May, and this year, the week falls from May 17th through 23rd, 2026. Public Works Week recognizes those who work across North America in maintaining public infrastructure and services collectively known as public works, which can range from streets and sidewalks to utilities, solid waste pickup, and much, much more. In Wendell, this falls on our Public Works Department. This was originally instituted as a public education campaign by the American Public Works Association in 1960, but look how far that's come. So, and y'all are getting ready to get a new building?
We are.
You're in the new building.
It's a surprise for everyone during Public Works Week.
Yeah, so y'all enjoy that. Okay, so let's do the proclamation. Whereas the town of Wendell is proud of its rich history and heritage as reflected in its historic architecture and landscapes, and whereas the town of Wendell partners with Wake County and the Wake County Historic Preservation Commission, that's the wrong one. I was getting ready to say, what in the world? Okay, I know. I thought I had them in the correct order. I apologize. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and the public health and high quality of life and well-being to the people of Wendell. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and in the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Wendell to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding in the importance of public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, on behalf of the Wendell Town Board of Commissioners, I, Virginia Gray, Mayor of the Town of Wendell, do hereby designate the weeks of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Duly proclaimed this the 11th day of May, 2026, and it's signed by me. So we wanted to have y'all here and recognize you, and thank you for everything that you do. And I'm not trying to make you take care of historic buildings on top of that. But thank y'all for everything that you do. The town looks beautiful, and we're so proud of it, and it's because of y'all. So thank you for that. Let me take a picture. I just was informed that there's some historic buildings that Commissioner Eatman would like y'all to take care of. So I'm sorry, I may have started something. You know how he can be sometimes. All right, item 4C is a proclamation recognizing May 2026 as National Preservation Month in the town of Wendell. Do we have someone here for that? I'm told that the National Trust for Historic Preservation has designated May of each year a Historic Preservation Month, and this is in furtherance of that. Okay. Whereas the town of Wendell is proud of its rich history and heritage as reflected in the historic architecture and landscapes, and whereas the town of Wendell partners with Wake County and the Wake County Historic Preservation Commission, serves as the town's official body to identify, preserve, and protect Wendell's historic resources. And whereas Wendell, the Wendell Historical Society, educates the public about historic preservation and provides a museum for residents and visitors to explore the town's history. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas the town has 2 National Register historic districts in its downtown and 3 Wake County landmark properties. And whereas all people are created equal is the theme of the National Historic Preservation Month 2026, sponsored by Nationwide and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by the dedicated historic place savers who pour their time, energy, and talents into protecting places they care about. I now, therefore, on behalf of the Town of Wendell Commissioners, I, Virginia Gray, Mayor of the Town of Wendell, do proclaim May 2026 as National Historic Preservation Month in Wendell, North Carolina, and call upon the people of Wendell to join their fellow residents across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance. Duly proclaimed this the 11th day of May 2026, and it's signed by me. So we wanted to have y'all here and thank you and congratulate you for recently becoming a historic landmark. That was really exciting, wasn't it?
It took a long time.
But it was very exciting. I
Like
was
11
pleased
months
to
or
be there
so.
with you,
But
yeah.
it was well worth it.
Yeah.
It's great to preserve the history of this great town. It's not about us, the people, the older generations. It's really for the younger people to know really the history of the town and what happens to the people, and especially the museum. The museum's great.
Yeah.
It's well worth it for everybody to go, especially when they're going to have an open house here this month. And
They
it's going to be
are.
great to have people there. For the American Legion Post and all the people that, contributed to it, it's been such an honor for all of us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're very proud of y'all. We're very proud of your building and that recent designation. That's very exciting.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
think they said it was the one of 3 continuously
It
used
is.
civic buildings in the
Yeah.
state.
It's a Renaissance architecture, and there's only 2 others in the entire state of
Yeah.
North Carolina. So we still have a lot of work to do. I mean, it's an old building, but we're looking for people to help us out, and we want to build out the pavilion that we have in the back so we can preserve the building. The hut, we call it the hut, so we don't, use it as much as we do, but we only meet once a month typically anyway, but we do things for Memorial Weekend, Flag Day, just Veterans Day. We do a lot for the community as well, because we do a lot of scholarships for Boys State, Girls State, the state of North Carolina Highway Patrol, the state troopers. We donate money for that every year. And
You
there's,
recently did the
yeah.
speech contest.
Pardon me?
The speech, wasn't that y'all?
Oratorical.
The oratorical contest?
Yeah, the orator,
Yes.
yeah, Rogers
Yeah.
did a lot of work on that, yeah.
Well, congratulations for
Thank you
all of
so
it.
much.
And thank you for everything
Thank
that you
you.
do.
Thank
And
you
we have a
all.
proclamation
Thank
for you.
all
Let's
for
get a
the work, too.
picture.
Okay.
Item 4D is the recognition of the Wendell Police Department for receiving a 2025 Mothers Against Drunk Driving Agency of the Year Award.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor, Board of Commissioners. This was a surprise, not a surprise on how hard the officers work day in, day out, but to get a recognition from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which you all know this organization has been around for a very long time, and their main focus obviously is to address impaired driving. And they've been a long-standing partner with law enforcement, provided resources and support whenever we do our multi-agency checkpoints and also saturation events. And Wendell takes it very seriously, and so the officers, with the work that they do in town, but also how they represent the agency outside with other agencies that do saturation events and multi-agency, trying to think what they were called, DWI checkpoints. And those have changed in the recent years. And the way the officers have been very active in the Wake County Task Force, the way they have carried themselves, because that they received a nomination from another agency to MAD, and were nominated to be for us to be the State Agency of the Year. So that's a big thing for the officers. Obviously, I'm very proud of them. We were able to attend the award ceremony, I believe it was April 30th, to receive the award. Took a few, actually, I think I got a picture here. Yeah, there you go. Took a few of the officers with us that are very active in the checkpoints, and so they're excited. Got a good meal, but when they go out, they don't go out for the awards. They're out there to protect the citizens of Wendell, and also we know the traffic is a very important thing, and so. But this was just icing on the cake there for them. So, just want to bring it to you.
Thank you.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
very
Thank you.
proud and pleased, so thank you. And please congratulate everyone for us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. All right, we'll move into our public hearings. We have one tonight. Item 5A is a public hearing to formally close right-of-way of South Pine Street between East Haywood and Folk Street. I'm going to hear from Mr. Coates.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor and board members. Tonight, we're asking you to hold the public hearing, make a motion to adopt the attached ordinance to abandon South Pine Street right-of-way between East Haywood and Folk Street, consistent with general statute, without alteration or splitting the right-of-way differently than equally, which is state law allows. According to the general statutes, for a road or alley to be formally closed, the municipality must first adopt a resolution, which you all did at April 13th meeting, declaring our intent to close the street and calling for a public hearing. The resolution was published in the local newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks. Notices were mailed and posted on the property. Staff received no comments from neighbors on the proposed closing of the right-of-way. I can field any questions that you may have at this time.
Okay, let's open the public hearing. Anything from the board? Okay, is there anyone here that has anything that they would like to speak in favor or in opposition?
To confirm,
Okay,
There were no easements that needed to be preserved.
No, the sewer lines are north of the area we're closing, so there's no direct, yep.
And no one from the audience has anything to speak? Okay, anything from the board? All right, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 011-2026 to abandon South Pine Street right-of-way between East Haywood and Folk Street, consistent with general statute, without alteration, and splitting the alley equally to adjoining properties.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt ordinance 1126 to abandon the South Pine Street right-of-way between East Haywood and Folks, consistent with general statute, without alteration, and splitting the alley equally to adjoin properties. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank y'all. Item number 6 in our administrative items is the downtown improvement grant for 32 North Main. Mr. Coates.
Yep, good evening, Mayor and board members. Tonight before you, we have a downtown improvement grant, which we refer to as a DIG grant for 32 North Main Street. If you recall, Retro Arcade, Reset Retro Arcade was approved special use permit back in the February 23rd, 2026 meeting. This is the space that was formerly occupied by Expressions of Worship Dance before they moved across the street and renovated the building they're in now. So they obtained their special use permit. They did apply for this grant back on February 20th. At that time in the grant submittal, they were waiting to get some details on a mural proposal. At this time, they're going to hold off on the mural and wanted to proceed with their grant minus the mural. If they decide to come back and do a mural, that would go to a parents commission and then come before you for any approvals at that time. The applicant is Rob Lee, who owns the building. The occupants of the building would be Reset Retro Arcade. And so the work being proposed is to replace existing awning, windows, and glass, repair the masonry of the building, repaint and add exterior lighting, and replace doors. The applicant's original submittal was a total cost for construction of around $60,000 for the grant request of $30,000. At that time, the mural being removed, the numbers got reduced to $56,500 and $28,250. Today, Mr. Rob Lee did send us some updated pricing on some windows and glass, and so the cost did go up. So we would recommend giving a little flexibility in that total grant based on receipts and after construction. And I'll go over the details and then have Mr. Rob can come up and talk about the project as well. To give you a little background, the DIG grants, the eligible areas are in that red, which is zone DMX, and then the yellow, which is also part of the grant area, which is the greater kind of downtown area. This grant was intended to help with facade repairs, replacement of windows, doors, their architectural features, structural improvements to upfit the second or third story spaces that are necessary for residential habitation or office space. Many of our older buildings that have a second floor or higher do not have kind of sprinklers or infrastructure to help really occupy those. Many of them for over the years were used for storage only. This grant also makes a priority for improvements and related to the creation of new commercial kitchens and restaurant space. And then exterior lighting, murals, and paint are as well. The applicant is proposing to do a variety of things, painting, brick and mortar repair, which is crucial on some of these old buildings. They have not had a lot of brick and mortar repair over the years. New windows and doors, which from my perspective, all the quotes, windows and doors are not cheap to put into any building. Grant eligibility for this, it is in that downtown area. Existing buildings are eligible that have been constructed 10 years or prior, which this building was well over 10 years in age. The applicant shall agree at the time of application to maintain the improvement and may not receive a grant for the same improvement within a 5-year period. Grants will not be awarded for the same type of work to the same tenant in a 10-year period. And improvements or rehabs must comply with all state and local regulations. Permits for the work are mostly required and needed, and we'll go over a little more details. Proposed work may not begin prior to applying for a grant. They did apply February 20th. They did get a permit issued after that for renovation, so there is work ongoing on the site. We won't pay for any signage or advertisements for the business. Ineligible cost, we won't work on financing of existing debt, non-capital equipment inventory, soft costs like engineering, things like that we won't pay for. Tier 4 grants, which this is a Tier 4 grant, must sign an agreement stating that the proposed improvements will remain in place for a minimum of 3 years. If the business closes or the property is sold for a different use, the appropriately prorated portion of the grant will be returned to the town. We did have this last year some Tier 4 grants in those agreements, so we would do a similar for this project as it is a Tier 4. Tier 4 grants are up to a maximum of $50,000. They've scored more than 15 points in the criteria. The applicant original request was $60,000 for a grant of $30,000. With the mural was removed, but then they did submit some new pricing for windows, so we would recommend including a number higher than the 56.5, and I'll let the applicant talk about what from the new quote, what is needed. Scoring matrix, you can see there, just for the public watching at home, a new restaurant receives an automatic 15 points based on our need and priority. Other improvements received points as well for different improvements to the building. Once approved, the applicant does have 12 months to complete the work with up to a 6-month extension. Funding from the town is only for reimbursed work once it's complete. So not only does the building permit need to be obtained, issued, work needs to be inspected and completed, and receipts from the work before the town reimburses for that cost. Just to be clear on expectations when people apply for the downtown grant. Downtown Development Committee did meet on April 22nd. However, they did not have quorum, therefore could not make an official recommendation. The 3 members in attendance were supportive of the grant and the project. I can field any questions that you have at this time, and the applicant, Rob Lee, is here as well.
Okay. Anything from the board? Any questions? Okay.
You will probably go ahead and ask them now and just see. So part of this says, and I think it was number 1 on the previous slide, that proposed work may not begin. But you said that work has begun.
Yeah, it can't
Explain.
begin before you apply for the grant.
Okay.
And they applied February 20th, and their permit was issued after that, so.
Okay.
Yep,
Gotcha.
it-
So that part qualifies.
Yes.
And then I guess Mr. Lee will speak on how much it went up.
Yes, I'll let him, yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, let's hear from the applicant.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep, do you need?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, board, for listening, and thank you for last year's grant at 31 North. And you helped us accomplish what it looks like. Without your support and help in this grant, we would not have been able to do what we did. So I want to say thank you for that. And then I reached out. The one reason it cost more is because I thought we were going to be able to have a side window, like a service window out the side, but that wasn't able to happen. So I got a quote that reflected that. So I really need to get you a new number that goes back to the original number. And so the reason our numbers aren't exact, my tenants were applying for the grant in the beginning and helped put together the bid package and used their subs and submitted their prices, and I did that with them. But we had really good results with the subs that we had used previously last year. I wanted to get repricing, so I will be submitting a whole new package, and hopefully I'll stay under budget or really close to where we are.
Any questions? Comments?
Yeah, just a couple, I think, Rob. Just to keep in mind, I mean, you know, 100-year-old brick building. I love the historic preservation stuff. It's not a secret to anybody. While you're doing the work, I mean, painting over 100-year-old brick is not the best solution to maintaining it in the long term. Really, everything from the corner down to sort of halfway down that block is all one building, and 32 is the only part of it that's painted fully. I mean, there's paint on
Right.
some parts of it. You're doing a lot of work to the outside of it. I'd love at least for you to just consider whether or not either taking the paint off of it, or at least the paint that goes onto it being something that's breathable, like a mineral-based paint, which is sort of the better practice for painting over old brick, just to be able to let it breathe. Just something to look at. We don't have any requirements like related to historic preservation in this grant program, so no harm, no foul on that, but just something I think worth taking into consideration as you go through the rest of
So
the
paint
process.
removal falls within the category, just like painting?
I'll let staff talk to you about that, but
If that's the case, then sure.
Yeah, it's still related to the overall renovation of the building, so that would still be an eligible activity in our minds from the program, and based on being in the historic district, and we encourage renovation and following standards, we would be supportive of that being part of the grant process, to remove the paint and
not that it has to be a decision point right now, just something to take under consideration as you move forward.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Yeah, I guess, and again, just going back to the money piece, we talked about you're pulling out, there was originally going to be a service window, you're pulling that piece out. Does that mean that the price goes down or the price goes up?
So, down.
Okay, so the price
Well,
goes down.
From the new prices. This new price didn't, so originally there was no service window.
Okay,
And then they came up with the idea, hey, if we had meat on Main or something, we could slide that window open and serve people right out of the side versus people coming inside. And I didn't care if they wanted that window to happen. And so they asked me to get a price for it, which I got today, which I submitted, and then I wasn't aware that we weren't allowed to do that. So that's the fluctuation in price.
So from a staff perspective, the arcade submitted an encroachment to have their sign hang over the public sidewalk, which we were supportive of. We've had other signs do that. The reason for the service window not being acceptable to the town was we need to keep a 4-foot clearance on that sidewalk for ADA requirements. And so having people waiting in line for a drink in that 4-foot space didn't meet our ADA requirements. So we were not able to accept that. I would recommend on the grant, if you move forward with it this evening, that, that you say up to maybe 30,000, not to exceed 30,000, so that when new numbers come in, we still have some flexibility to work with the applicant, and it doesn't have to come back to you, or you don't have to delay it this evening.
and that would normally be 25, but we're saying 30.
Yeah, if they show 60,000 worth of receipts for the renovation, then we could fund up to 30,000 of that, or lower, but nothing higher than those amounts, which was their original request.
Anything else from the board? Okay.
You're welcome.
If there's no other commentary or comments, I'll make a motion to approve the downtown improvement grant for 32 North Main Street, up to $30,000 with just the authority to give town staff flexibility.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve the downtown improvement grant application for 32 North Main, up to $30,000, or not to exceed $30,000. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Item 6B is a Sixth Amendment to the Agreement for Upgrade Streetlight Services between the Town of Wendell and the Wendell Falls Community Association.
Yep, good evening, Mayor and board members. This is our 6th amendment to this. The original was adopted in 2018, and it's been amended 6 times. This is an agreement between the town and the Wendell Falls HOA. This Wendell Falls, for those watching at home, has a more decorative streetlight than our standard streetlight, and so this agreement has been in place since 2018. They pay the cost of the upgraded street, they pay the whole cost of the streetlights. The HOA pays the part for the upgraded light, and then we reimburse them for the standard light that we have around town. This is the sixth. We will probably have one more amendment as the project is, the last phases are being installed now. This agreement covers Phase 10A, Tree Light Square, and some of the Flex project. So there are a total of 473 streetlights in Wendell Falls. There are additional streetlights on private commercial lots. That is not part of this agreement. Those lights are parking lot lights at like Wake Med are not part of this. This is just along the public right-of-way. I can field any questions that you have. The funds have been designated for next year's budget, and this is the timely of this. The funds will come out of next year's budget.
Anything from the board? Any questions, comments?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign the amended streetlight reimbursement agreement with Wendell Falls.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to authorize the town manager to sign the amended streetlight reimbursement agreement with Wendell Falls. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Item 6C is a resolution to endorse the regional blueprint for safety plan and commit to a goal of eliminating roadway deaths and serious injuries. Mr. McCarthy.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good
We have a straightforward request for you this evening to adopt a resolution endorsing the regional blueprint for safety plan and a goal to eliminate roadway deaths and serious injuries, which is a concept referred to as Vision Zero. And Vision Zero is an approach to safety that focuses on eliminating death and serious injuries on America's roadways. And when we say that, we aren't necessarily focused on driver behavior. Our police department already does an excellent job of addressing that. When we talk about Vision Zero, we're primarily focused on roadway design. So compared to the rest of the region, Wendell actually has relatively safe roadways, but we're part of a network, a larger network of roadways that is characterized by medium speeds, poor access control, and modal conflicts. And so Vision Zero, all those factors increase the likelihood of serious injury or death when traffic incidents do occur. So Vision Zero is now the policy of the U.S. Department of Transportation, the North Carolina Department of Transportation, and CAMPO, the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. So that's that regional coordinating entity that's a conduit for federal highway funds. And communities across the region have adopted similar resolutions indicating their support for Vision Zero. This is a map I grabbed from NCDOT, so there are many more communities now that have adopted similar resolutions. And although Wendell does have comparatively safe roads, like any community, we have opportunities to improve over time by incorporating safety countermeasures into our roadway design. And that's why we're asking you to reiterate the town's commitment to the regional blueprint for safety. So CAMPO developed the plan as a coordinated approach to designing safer streets. And last June, Commissioner Eatman and the other members of the CAMPO Executive Board unanimously adopted the plan. Wendell planning staff, we participate in the implementing committees that are developing what they call a regional safety culture. And over time, the MPO will incorporate those principles into funding prioritization and sort of the best practices for our region. But most importantly, the Blueprint for Safety is a compliant safety action plan. So the US DOT has adopted funding criteria that prioritizes communities that have qualifying safety action plans. And having an adopted action plan allows the jurisdiction to compete for funding, like programs like the Safe Streets for All program. And one component of a qualifying safety action plan is identification of a high injury network. So campus staff developed a map of the entire region that identifies the most dangerous roadways by mode of travel. And again, this is for the entire Raleigh urbanized area, so it's a regional map. And they used NCDOT crash data to develop that. And Wendell, we do have comparatively safe roadways, but we have this one section of Business 64 that's on that high injury network for bicyclists and pedestrians. And the town's already proactively taken action to implement countermeasures to address that on the corridor. And this evening, we're asking you to explicitly endorse the Blueprint for Safety plan so that we can be better positioned to compete for funding as we move forward. And I can answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
One real quick, that I hadn't thought about before with this map, and just, it always helps to zoom, you look at the big regional thing and it's a whole bunch of spaghetti on a map, but to zoom in and actually know the streets is always helpful. I know this is sort of like the, several, 6-7 year window. And to your point, we've built a sidewalk on half of that section of Wendell Boulevard since at least the beginning of really almost all of that has happened since the window that was being measured here. Something I'm thinking about is whether, with the data set that's obviously the process of identifying these corridors across the region happened, but is there anything we can do to look at the same data set in future years to almost look at the emerging hotspots or emerging corridors that will continue, instead of looking at this full window in the past of, you think about 2016, Wendell had barely started to grow from a population perspective and things like that. So I'm already curious about what the 24, 25, 26 data points look like, and whether there's opportunities to go ahead and proactively identify some of those emergent spots so there's not this big play and catch up thing that everybody else in the region is always having to do to some extent with transportation, but especially when it comes to safety, it feels like seeing those early and going ahead and finding ways to address them on the front end is a positive.
Yes, sir. So there's a partnership between UNC and NC State that makes NCDOT's data available online. So if you go to ncvisionzero.org, you can pull the data. I think it goes through 24. And then we have requested from DOT what they call the TEAS data, that is the most up-to-date crash data. So we can get that. We can request that at any time and get that information.
Y'all are on it. Thank you.
Anything else from the board?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, approval of Resolution R13, 2026, endorsing the Regional Blueprint for Safety Plan and committing to the goal of eliminating roadway deaths and serious injuries.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve the resolution to endorse the Regional Blueprint for Safety Plan and commit to a goal of eliminating roadway deaths and serious injuries. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Item 6D is the Brownfield Program Task Order 27, Phase 1 Environmental Site Assessment Proposal at property at 319 Allegro Road in Wendell.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. This is to do Task Order 27 of the Brownfield Program as a Phase 1 Environmental Site Assessment for 319 Allegro Road. The property has been prepared in response to an email from staff that we purchased neighboring property next door. We thought the Phase 1 for this property was going to happen as the same as the one next door. It did not occur, so this is now being broken out into a separate task order. I can field any questions that you have at this time.
All right. Any questions from the board?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the task order, authorize the town manager or his or her designee to sign.
We have a motion to approve the task order and authorize the town manager or his designee to sign. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, and Brownfield Program Task Order 28, Limited Asbestos and Lead Paint, Base Paint Survey Services for 0 Old Quarry Road.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor and board members. This scope of services, Task 28, includes completing a limited asbestos-containing material and lead-based paint survey for the property located at 0 Old Quarry Road. The town purchased this property. We did a Phase 1. They did find a building on the site. It was partially collapsed in the wooded area, and so Geosyntec, our consultant for the Brownfield program, can go out and do that work, determine if there's any lead or asbestos paint in that building. This parcel was purchased for a potential future park site, and so having that information is good to know up front. And so the budget for this is not to exceed $8,730. I can field any questions you have at this time.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Madam Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the task order and authorize the town manager or his or her designee to sign.
All right, we have a motion to approve the task order and authorize the town manager or designee to sign. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Move into our commissioners' reports or comments and start with Commissioner Deloach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple of, I guess, personal items. Went for a walk this morning. Just want to acknowledge Hope Perry, who is a scout with Troop 515. He did an Eagle Scout project. It was a beautification project here at Town Park. Looks really great. Some pavers, some trees, mulch. So at the new restroom facility here at Town Park. So it looks really great. Just want to thank him and volunteers that helped him with that. So great job on that, Hope. As a board, and I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure everybody typically hears a lot, obviously about traffic and transportation. A couple things we discussed tonight. We heard about Vision Zero and our commitment to that. But also something that's personal to me is we're the agency of the year in Wendell for MAD. And as a kid growing up in Greenville, my life was impacted. Our friend group lost a friend due to a drunk driver. And his mother was a real big advocate of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers back in the day. And that was 40 plus years ago. So something that is deeply personal to me, and the fact that I'm sitting here now as a part of what we do here in Wendell, and the fact that we've been acknowledged with that is again personal and certainly something that's appreciated. So thank you to everyone that commits to doing things better in Wendell, and that's traffic, transportation, and all that goes along with that. Also want to thank the Lee family for their investment in our downtown. It's the second building that they've worked on. Mr. Lee skipped out, but I did want to acknowledge him. That I said the same thing last time they were here. Local folks, been here a long time, and just really appreciate their dedication to our town. Downtown is looking great. I actually had dinner there tonight. Had a big Wendell full day. Today's my anniversary, so happy anniversary to my lovely wife. We spent the morning, we had coffee, spoke to Wendell PD, spoke to, not for bad reasons, they were out doing good things. Public Works was downtown as well, so lots of great things happening. Had dinner tonight in downtown, so just really, really full. My cup is full for Wendell, so that's all, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Benson?
None from me tonight, thanks.
Commissioner Eatman?
Nothing else.
Commissioner Honeycutt?
Thank you, Mayor. I had the distinct pleasure to do two things that were kind of fun this last week. The first one was, and we sort of opened up with Wendell Middle School, and I'll kind of bookend this with Wendell Middle School, but the Magnet Design Lab. Wonderful process where they called in some commissioners to actually make decisions on school projects that they had found their own problems. So these, and Commissioner Ingalls and Commissioner Eatman, jump in if you need to. I believe we were in the third grade class, but in any event, maybe there was just middle school. I'm sorry, fifth grade class is middle school. When you don't have kids, you have to struggle with that to some degree. Sixth grade. 7, 8. Thank you. Sixth grade class. As I say, Commissioner Eatman, Commissioner Ingalls, jump in because to me they're all the same size.
They didn't let us make decisions about their projects either.
Well, and the funny thing was they came up.
We were there.
We were there. We were there.
School.
Thank you. It was critical. It wasn't, no, but the whole thing was they'd ask like critical questions, like rather than say good job, you're supposed to say have you considered this? So it was a great process to observe this. And again, and I told them, I said, when I was in school 100 years ago, I never had anything like this. So whether they were third grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, I was amazed and impressed with what they did. So had a great time, and as you can tell, my two guys had a good time with me. Second thing, Siemens had their Power On event today. Awesome event. They're expanding in Wendell and the Wendell Commerce Center. That's going to bring a lot of high-paying jobs. I'm going to let the mayor talk about that because she made a wonderful speech. If you want to go to Facebook, please watch it. But great things, to Commissioner Deloach's point, great things are happening in Wendell. We appreciate it, whatever your ages may be.
Commissioner Ingles.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on the design lab. It was a great experience, and I'm really impressed by some of these kids who identified problems that some of which we're already tackling, and that's good to get some confirmation that they have observed some of the same things that we and our constituents have, that their parents have, and also they brought some particularly unique perspectives on challenges that we face in our community, and it's good to be able to talk to them about those and also be there to communicate with them about ways that they can perfect their approaches, and then hopefully in the future come to us with, with public comment, and we can actually absorb their expertise and tackle those issues. And that's really, I think, all I got.
Thank you. A quick reminder, Meet on Main's this Friday. The band is the Blenders, food trucks, music, kids area. Come on down and join everyone. I did attend they called it a ribbon cutting, but it was really a turning on the microgrid at Siemens this morning. And it was just an outstanding event. I'm very proud of it. I remember a few years ago when we were at Wake Tech and we were cutting the ribbon at Wake Tech, and my deep feelings were that I wanted kids in Wendell to be able to walk into a room and feel like they belong. And I feel like we've been forgotten a little bit here. And interestingly, I think that what Siemens is doing there with their internships with Wake Tech and the jobs that they're creating is doing just that. It's bringing hope and opportunity to citizens, students, and families in Eastern Wake County and in Wendell, and that makes me very happy. I want the people to have jobs, good jobs, where they leave at the end of the day and they have a good feeling from a good day's work. That's what should be your goal, and having accomplished a lot, and those are the kinds of jobs that are being created there. I'm very proud of that. I was excited to be out there today and see that. And that's all I got. Oh, and a lot of important people were there today with us. So it was really nice to have community partners that attracted folks that don't normally visit Wendell. So that was nice too. They got to see our secrets out of what a great place it is. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.